I can see Rowan Dean's eye roll from here. He joins me now. I mean, seriously, when you went down to the pub in Bali drinking bintangs with your Bali singlet on last week, was people standing around saying, we need more women in the Liberal Party, we need more diverse voices?
Exactly, Steve. Thanks for having me on your show. Listen, when I was at school in Canberra at Forest Primary, they had a board up on the wall which had all the words that you weren't. Our teacher insisted we were never allowed to use certain words, and there was about half a dozen of them, but one of them was nice, N-I-C-E, and we were told under no circumstances ever use that word to describe something, because if it is nice, then you can't think of a better word, then it literally is vacuous. It is nothing. Susan Lee came across as nice, very nice speech, very nice things she said. She sounds like a nice person. She was a pilot, and we got all of that stuff. But the problem is what Australians need, forget the Liberal Party, what Australians desperately need is a not nice leader of the Liberal Party. What Australians need is a warrior, someone who will fight to tear down the worst government this nation has seen since Whitlam and possibly before Whitlam. We need a warrior. Can be a woman. There are some great women warriors, fantastic. Jacinta Price is a great warrior. We need a warrior to tear down this appalling government that we have. We are sitting at one of the most critical moments in world history. You've just talked about it before. It's been on the show. Donald Trump at NATO. We are sitting at a point equivalent to the Berlin Wall coming down. We are sitting at a point in history virtually equivalent to the Japanese Empire surrendering at the end of World War II, where we may finally see peace in the Middle East, something none of us have ever experienced in our lifetimes. And that is all down to one man, Donald Trump. Australia used to be like that with America. We were America's deputy sheriff. We were, even though the left hated that term, and Kevin Rudd certainly did, but we were like that with America. We share the same values. We share the same goals. We share the same strengths and power. We sit there and look at Donald Trump and compare that to this insignificant little character who won't even front up to a meeting, who can't even get a phone call with Donald Trump. That's what we have. We have one of the worst governments we've ever had. We are being crippled by net zero. And all Susan Lee could come out with and say was that we should be cutting emissions. Now, let me tell you, Steve, guaranteed the next change of government will come about with a party that opposes net zero, because net zero is destroying this country. It's destroying our prosperity. It's destroying our economy. It's destroying investment. It's destroying the future that our kids deserve. It's destroying jobs, all on a fantasy, some silly fantasy about being a renewable superpower because of green hydrogen, which doesn't even exist. We need a warrior to attack the net zero house of cards and bring this government down, and do it fast. That's what we need, Chris. And I didn't hear one word that gave me any confidence that the Liberal Party are going to do that.
Yeah, look, I dropped the editorial at the top of the program because we went live with the Trump remarks at NATO, where he ripped into the US media. He called CNN scum, and he just says what he believes and thinks, and he follows through. I watched Susan Lee today, and I was waiting for some solid comment about we'll turn our back on net zero, and we're not going to bankrupt the country and force everyone to have transmission lines ploughed through their farms. You heard none of that. I didn't hear a mention of the word immigration at all, anywhere. And even cost of living didn't really seem to bother her too much. I mean, and I also wonder, Peter Dutton was probably right not to go to the press club in Canberra. I mean, if you want to actually get out there and feel what the nation's feeling, the pain the nation's feeling, go on Paul Murray in one of his town shows, or go out and organise your own town halls. Don't go down to the Canberra bubble and talk about, what it was like going to high school there.
There are so many problems facing this nation. It's probably not it's a rather dispiriting idea that yesterday or the day before we had the E-Safety Commissioner, Julian Munn-Grant, in there at the National Press Club. This was woke central. It was hard to distinguish, actually, between Susan Lee and Julian Munn-Grant for any opposition to the current woke zeitgeist. The one thing Susan Lee didn't do, I sat there and listened to all this hand-wringing stuff about, we're so terrible at the Liberal Party, we lost, and we lost this seat, and we lost that seat, and we lost so many votes, woe is me, woe is me. Didn't want to hear that. What I wanted to hear was that one single answer. Why in September and October of last year, only 6 or 7 months ago, was the Liberal Party riding well above, well ahead of Labor in the polls, standing ready to win the election. Why? Between the Voice, which the Liberal Party won in a 61-39 majority, unheard of. Everyone said it would go the other way. How did they lose the momentum from that to losing the election? And Susan Lee was a key part of the decision-making processes. Every decision taken between, August, September, October of last year, this time last year even, when they were riding high in the opinion polls, looking at a landslide victory potentially, but certainly a victory. What were the decisions she took, and with Peter Dutton and the team, that led to that disastrous hand-wringing, losing everything around them, losing everything? What were the decisions they took? And I'll tell you, one of them was when they refused to get behind Donald Trump, when they refused to pull out of the Paris Agreement, when Peter Dutton didn't jump on the plane the day after Donald Trump was elected and said, "We're right with you, mate. We're here. We're your famous allies. We're your great mates. We'll do whatever it needs to make this world a better place." That's what we didn't see. All the decisions, Steve, that were taken, that Susan Lee was a party of. She doesn't need a group to sit around. She doesn't need PowerPoint presentations and research focus groups to tell them what went wrong. I can tell them what went wrong.
Absolutely.
You can tell them what went wrong. There's people in every pub in Australia can tell them exactly what went wrong. And the reason it went wrong is because they did not stick to hardcore values, liberal, conservative values that the people of Australia wanted and demanded and need now.
Rowan, absolutely, and it's going to be a very long 3 years. Welcome back from Bali, mate. We'll catch you on the weekend.